What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Everything's Plastic. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Bandai Anime Heroes, and this is from Naruto Shippuden Uchiha Sasuke. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm only 2 episodes into Naruto, and I'm not overly familiar with this anime at all. My son is a big Naruto fan, and he's fairly into it. Definitely want to get caught up. Really like the characters, and my son's very excited to have some action figures. You can see the front of the box here. We have a nice picture of Sasuke on the front there. Sasuke on the bottom, Anime Heroes on the top. Not sure what this says. Anime Heroes on top here. On the back here we have Kakashi, we have Naruto, and we have Sasuke. We recently did a review on Kakashi and Naruto. This is the last one we needed in Wave 1. Now these figures have been out since 2020, but like I previously mentioned, we're just getting into Naruto. So as soon as we got into it, we couldn't wait to go back and try to hunt down some of these figures. Luckily, we didn't have too much difficulty. We were very fortunate to luck into these. Not a whole lot of these anime characters in our area. So that pretty much wraps up packaging. We'll be right back with Sasuke outside the box so we can get a closer look. Alright guys, we are back and we have Sasuke outside of the packaging. For accessories, he comes with 2 jutsu fingers or jutsu hands, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty cool. Comes with another gripping hand, so he has 1 gripping hand on this side and 1 gripping hand on this side as well. And then he comes with 1 kind of open hand as well. So in the packaging he has an open hand on this side too. So in total there are 3 complete sets of hands, which is pretty cool. So we have this ninjutsu effect, I think it's called. Correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. Like I said, just getting into Naruto, so I'm not up on all this stuff. So he does come with a sword. And he does come with a sheath as well. I tried to put the sword in the sheath, and when I looked, I realized that it doesn't actually fit. So you just have to handle the sword, and that fits in like this as well. So it just gives the effect that the sword is in the sheath, and then you have a separate sword. So kind of weird. Alright, let's get a closer look at Sasuke. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. But yeah, we have a closer look at his face. I think they did a pretty cool job on face sculpt, to be honest. Not bad. There is a likeness to Sasuke on this one. Really like the overall design of his hair. Looks pretty awesome. Then we get down to his body. His neck is oddly long. I know they probably made his neck longer just because of his collar. That being said though, definitely looks way too long. It's not really proportionate to his body. I do like the joints on Bandai's. They usually have pretty good joints on their figures. Not really sloppy, not really gummy or anything like that, like we usually get from a lot of Hasbro figures. Do like the cool design of the rope going around there, has his belt. They did a pretty cool job on this one overall. Down to his pants, there's a little bit of detail in his pants. This here is very soft plastic. They put 2 slits here, so it doesn't really hinder articulation a whole lot. I can see it hindering a little bit, but I think you're still going to get this one in whatever poses that you can get them in anyways. Hopefully, we'll see when we color over articulation. This paint application on the sandals are pretty messy, which is pretty common. We have Naruto and we have Kakashi, and it's the same thing. Most of the figure is nice and clean, but when we get down to the feet, we can see a lot of overpaint here onto his sandals. We do see a little bit of detail though. We can see his toenails and everything sculpted on here, which is a pretty cool detail. Cool symbol on the back here, that's painted nice and clean as well. But yeah, not a bad looking figure. That being said though, a few issues, but I still like it. And more importantly, it's my son's figure and he loves it, so that's all that matters. So we had a closer look. Let's quickly go over articulation. So for his head is on a ball joint here, and you get a little bit of articulation, so it goes side to side, goes back and forth, and his neck is articulated as well. You do get a little bit of range of motion out of that, a little bit side to side, and a little bit going forward and back. For his shoulders, go all the way up, so fantastic range of motion out of his shoulders. Go all the way around. There is a bicep swivel there as well. You do get a little bit of range of motion there. There's not really a butterfly joint, but it's more of a ball joint, so you do get a little bit of pivot out of that. For his elbows, you do get a double jointed elbow, double jointed pin elbow. I love pinless joints, but it doesn't look that bad. And we have these ratchet joints here for his wrist, so that goes back and forth, and you can move it all the way around. Those rotate as well. There's no ab crunch or any kind of articulation for his upper body, but there's a ball joint above his waist, so that goes back this far, forward this far. You do get some side and a full rotation as well. For his legs don't really come out to a complete split. It's not really restricting articulation, it's actually the joints. You don't really get a big range of motion out of that. Be very careful too. Just pushing up on it. Plastic is very soft on these. You can see that it's kind of dented the plastic there. So be very careful when you're playing with these or when you're posing them. These legs do drop down as well to get a little bit of added articulation, but even so, you can't really get a complete split out of this one. The back part actually gets a lot of movement and it feels really soft. The front part is really stiff. Plus you have this rope belt here as well, which makes it a little bit more difficult when you're trying to go over articulation or trying to pose this one. But for his legs, it goes forward this far, back this far, so restricted going back as well. There's double jointed pin knees though. You get a pretty decent range of motion out of that. We can see a little ball joint here on the top part of his leg, where there's almost like a little swivel joint right here. So the swivel's almost all the way around. If you try to get a full rotation, I find his leg pops off, but you can get a decent range of motion here. There's no boot cut or anything like that. There's no rotation or any kind of articulation up here. But for his ankles go back this far, forward this far. These ratchet joints give you a lot of options. Sometimes they're not the nicest looking joints, but you do get awesome articulation out of it. So that pretty much covers articulation. I gotta be 100% honest though, this guy is pretty hard to handle when you're trying to pose him, especially when you're trying to go over articulation for a review. The bottom part of his uniform, we're going to call it, definitely makes it hard to handle and definitely makes it hard to get some decent poses out of this one. That being said though, definitely looks cool. So let's pop his sword into his hand. It's pretty awesome. Really wish there was a little spot that you can slide this in. I don't see anywhere on it. I should have checked out someone else's reviews to see if the sheath actually slides in anywhere. Put on the other gripping hand, kind of have the sheath in this hand, and then have the sword drawn like so. Either way, still gives you options. Still, it's pretty cool. And as for the ninjutsu effect, or whatever you want to call it, let me know in the comments below what this is actually called. That kind of rests in his hand like so. And it looks pretty awesome. I like it, man. I think they're pretty cool. I was going to switch around the hands, but you guys get the idea. The open hand in the box actually holds on to his effect, so there's no real need to switch them around. But if you did want to switch them around, there's just a little peg on top here. This pulls off and the other hand just slides on nice and easy. Just to do a few quick comparisons, there's Sasuke next to Kakashi and Naruto from Wave 1. But we can see Sasuke is definitely the smallest out of the three. Here we have Peter Parker from the Spider-Man Homecoming. Peter Parker, and it leads to back. We can see that they're pretty much the same size. Sasuke is a little bit shorter than Peter Parker. Now this Marvel Legend is a little bit smaller than a standard Marvel Legend, but I just want to give you guys a comparison to a smaller Marvel Legend. If you want to do comparison to an average size Marvel Legend, here he is next to the Marvel Legend and Ninja. This is one cool figure as well, but we can see that a standard 6-inch Marvel Legend. The hand Ninja is a little bit over 6 inches. We can see that Naruto and Kakashi are close on 6 inches, Sasuke being around 5.5. I totally left my measuring tape upstairs. I was going to get an actual measurement for this one, but it's definitely around 5.5 inches based off comparison of the previous two. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and figure review. Out of 10, I'm going to give this guy a 7.5 out of 10. Overall, this guy does look awesome. I do like the accessories, and I do like the extra hands. That being said though, there's way too many problems with the joints on this one. These ratchet joints look very ugly on this one. They definitely could have did a better job with those. They are really loose as well. This one, it was quite a struggle just to get this one to stand up properly. And when it comes to articulation, this guy is very restricted. That being said though, definitely looks very cool. And I still highly recommend it if you're a fan of Naruto and if you're a fan of Sasuke. Definitely a cool character, definitely a cool figure, but it does have its issues. So if you're thinking about picking that one up, just keep in mind very loose joints and very limited articulation. If you're the type of person though that just buys it, sticks it on your shelf, or displays it in a case, this one is definitely going to serve your purpose. It will look awesome on display. If you want to take these out and play with them, or you're really big into figure photography, then you might run into a few issues. So let us know in the comments below, what do you think of our score of 7.5 out of 10. Let us know what you think of our review, and let us know in the comments below what you would rate this one out of 10. If you liked our review, don't forget to hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button as well. As always, we hope you enjoyed this review, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Keep collecting, stay safe, go buy some toys.